Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to a very special reaction and review. And this is to the first episode, episode 1 or part 1 of MLP FiM, Season 9, The Beginning of the End. Now, I'm not going to feature both parts in one video because it would be freaking long with my overall review and afterthoughts, so I'm going to split them up and do 2 separate videos. But this is the start of the final season. So let's go ahead and begin. Part of me doesn't want to start this because I know once I start, it's starting the last leg of the journey, the final trek of this journey. But I also want to finish it, so let's just go ahead and delve into it. Start of the video. The beginning of the end, part 1. 1 and 3, 2. What? Like, why? Okay, I don't mean this in a bad way. This is just, I find this whole thing with the princesses retiring to be just the most bizarre. I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way, and I'm not criticizing the writing here. It's just that this is the most out of the blue, suddenly thrust upon you, out of freaking nowhere. Like this is out of left field. This is out of right field. This is out of the infield. This is the most out of the blue thing that I can recall just happening in the show. The princesses just decide to retire. I mean, that's just so, like, WTF. Why? I mean, okay, I know they said that there's not, a lot left for them to do. Okay, there's a couple of ways that I can interpret this. Number one, the girls want some action, okay? So, like, here's a suggestion, alright? Here's a suggestion. There's going to be other villains. How about next time that there's a villain, you tell Twilight, hey Twilight, you know, step aside, let us handle it a bit. Or, here's an idea, get boyfriends. Okay, just get boyfriends. But it's kind of bizarre because they said before, in the episode where Luna and Celestia switched places to experience a walk in each other's horseshoes, they had a lot of other responsibilities to have to take care of there. So suddenly they're now like, we don't have much to do. Really? It seems like a bit of a contradiction, and like part of me can't help but think that just maybe they're playing Twilight. That they're not going to retire, but then I'm expecting that it will happen. So again, what the heck? The princesses has ruled over Equestria for like centuries now. I mean, they ruled before Luna's banishment, and now they've been ruling a few years after Luna's return. Why would they suddenly? I mean, really? I mean, I have to question. We don't know, like, how long the princesses have been around for. We don't know. But how, like, was there another ruler? Maybe their parents, maybe, before Luna and Celestia took over? How long ago was that? So, and how long have Luna and Celestia been in power? Do they, like, how will the residents of Ponyville be able to accept this? And like I said before, in my review for the trailer, Twilight is still, like, so young right now. And you're putting pressure on someone who's, like, in their early 20s to in charge of running basically like the entire United States here. So that's not and they've not really done very, like, they haven't had any experience with doing things like that. Okay, maybe they defeated some bad guys or something, but now suddenly they're like, we want you to be the president of the United States. Say what? What? It's so sudden. It's just all, yeah. Okay. Now, secondly, it's interesting that all of Twilight's friends, like everyone, is totally mellow about it. They're totally calm. They're confident that they can handle this. And I have to admire, and I can understand both sides here. Uh, I can totally understand both sides. I can understand their side because being calm about it, because realistically speaking, the Twilight is going to be the ruler. You know, they're just going to be there kind of with her. I would kind of imagine that every one of them would have a role, maybe. Like, Rarity could be the royal designer, uh, or the royal fashioneer, royal fashioneer for, that's just the word I made up, for the kingdom. Rainbow would not be captain of the, she could probably be captain of Twilight's guards. Fluttershy could like take care of the animal, maybe an animal sanctuary there at the castle. Applejack could be in charge of catering. Pinky could be in charge of morale, or happy, making people laugh, something like that. But again, it just kind of seems like they are very mellow about it, and because they're confident, they've had the experiences before, the things that they have learned, not just in their battles with other villains, but things that they've learned on their own and with their family and their other friends. And so they feel confident in that, and they're more mellow about it. They're more ready to take it on. And I can understand that they feel ready because of that. But I can also very much understand Twilight's shock and confusion, and her very deep concern about this whole thing, because this is Twilight Sparkle. She was a recluse in the beginning. She was a recluse. She was sent to Ponyville to learn about friendship, and she learned about friendship. And over the course of a few years, yeah, she matured and evolved. But remember, this is still putting pressure on someone very suddenly. And there's another bizarre matters about it, like the princesses retiring and stepping down. I don't know if Equestria has ever heard of anything like that. So now suddenly this is a thing? And you would think that it would take a kind of a decently long process for this thing to play out, but nope, they're like, just a few days, we'll get our stuff and we'll get out of your hair. And we're going to Las Pegasus, baby! Like, I can imagine Luna and Celestia quickly packing their bags, jumping in a convertible, and be like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, and then they just tear off to, instead of Vegas, Pegas, and, or like to Pegasus, like Las Pegasus, and then you see them gambling at a casino, like wearing, like Hawaiian shirts, wearing sunglasses. That would be awesome to see, like, as a little extra scene. That would be great. But I just a few days, they've been in power for centuries, and now suddenly, it just takes a few days, we're gone. We've already got our stuff packed. We weren't expecting you to accept it. We already got our stuff packed. And actually, we've already booked these flights to Sunny Shoals, to Sunny Shores, for 2-week vacay. Like, what the heck? Just so sudden. Dang, they're like, we've been stuck in this castle, cooped up for years. I can see it, like, Luna, I can kind of imagine that, Celestia, like, I haven't had a date in centuries. Do you know what that has done to me? And Luna is like, chill, sister, chill. Just chill the F out, alright? But, again, this is really sudden, and, yeah, I'm not certain right now if Twilight will become the ruler of Equestria, but I do think that it would be if that were the case, and I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it, just on the idea that it is going to be truthful, that Twilight is going to become the ruler of Equestria, and this is going to be the end of the show. Twilight will rule over, and it's an interesting thing because, if you think back, I don't think ever, like, whenever we first started watching the show back years ago, we never imagined that this simple unicorn was going to become the leader, was going to become the ruler of an entire country. Um, and whenever Twilight got her wings, I think there probably were jokes about Twilight taking over, uh, like Luna and Celestia actually passing on or something, and Twilight taking over. So, okay, all of you that ever thought that, you predicted it. All right, you did. But it's just, yeah, this is just so sudden for this to happen, and very, very confusing. But again, it just Twilighting out about it, panicking. I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all, because what the heck? Seriously? But another thing as well, we have this new villain that is introduced, or at least I say introduced because I've never seen this guy before. He looks like I know he's a ram. I know he's a ram, but he looks like, I'm sorry, just with the bell, with the collar, he looks like a reindeer. Like, he looks like a Santa's sleigh reject. I'm sorry, like, he looked like he was kicked out of the North Pole for being naughty. Maybe he stole some presents or something, and so he was just kicked out, okay? And yeah, I know there's a difference between a ram and a reindeer, but again, he just looks like a reindeer. He does. And that's what makes it funny to me. But this Grobgar, yeah, Grobgar. Was that right? Grobnar? I'm sorry. Everyone else in the show got his name wrong. So, yeah, it wasn't just them. It's me too, okay? Grogar. Okay, Grogar. Grogar. Okay. Grogar. Okay, I'm going to call him every wrong name that you can imagine. Grogar. Okay, Grogar. Anyway, also, I do really love how that Discord also had a pretty prominent presence in this episode as well. And it was funny that Discord decided, oh, well, maybe they'll let me take over. We already knew if Discord takes over, it's kind of going to be chaos and weirdness and such. So, yeah, I don't blame the princesses for not wanting Discord to do it. I mean, no disrespect to Discord. I love the goofy guy. But, yeah, there has to be a sense of balance and control that Discord isn't exactly going to have that. So, yeah, that's not really going to work. But, like I said, we were introduced to this Santa's reindeer wannabe. Like, this guy knocked off Rudolph. You know, he snubbed Rudolph to take his place. Wait a minute, I gotta do it. Grogar the blue-nosed ram had a very shiny collar, and if you ever saw him, he would punch you in the face. Oh. But, okay, I have to wonder, like, was this guy... Okay, I'm not at all familiar with... I know some of the other villains, such as T-Rac, was featured in other iterations of MLP. I think he was the villain in, like, the first My Little Pony movie or something back in the 80s. But Chrysalis, I don't know about, or she's original to FiF to Friendship is Magic. And Sombra, I think, is original. But this Grogar guy, like, is he a new iteration of another one? Of a past villain, or is he just a new villain? That being said, the backstory. I mean, I like the design of the guy. You know, the old. He does have an interesting presence about him, and that's one of the things I think that I do like about him. Is that he has the old wise man villain, and more often than not, I mean, it's not always the case, but sometimes the old wise man villain in stuff is more of is more of an adversary than some newcomer, because this guy, he has experience, he's studied, and he's the wise person. So yeah, he's understands. He knows why they were defeated. But I can already tell you he's going to get defeated here, so that, he's not going to completely win. but he has been around for ages, since way even before Tirak. But I think it's interesting that out of all these villains here, all of these villains except for Cozy Glow have magic. But Cozy Glow does not have magic. Why? And she's still wearing socks! Like she's... Oh no, that's her tail, I'm sorry. The screenshot made it like she had socks, I'm sorry. But Cozy Glow doesn't have magic. She's a basic little Philly Pegasus. She's like a little girl. She doesn't have any magic. But the one thing that I have to say about her, she is... And I think that's probably why she was freed, is not because of any magic ability on her part, but because of her cunning and manipulative ways. She can easily talk a group into siding one way or the other, and so she's very, very cunning, and she's very, very manipulative. So yeah, I can understand why that they decided to free her. Is why he decided to free her. But Grobgar. That was from Star vs. Forces of Evil. I'm sorry, Grobgar. Sorry, Grobgar was from Star vs. Forces of Evil. Sorry, Grogar. Grogar decides that everyone should kind of work together to defeat the villains. I mean, to defeat their adversaries. And one thing that I gotta say is King Sombra had more dialogue in this, just in this episode. Actually, to be honest, just in a few, actually in just a few minutes, King Sombra had more dialogue than he really ever did. Throughout the entirety of MLP, he had pretty much the only dialogue that he had in A Crystal Empire was crystals. Like, he made me think of Neo Cortex from, I think, Crash Bandicoot 2, or Crash Bandicoot 3, where Neo Cortex is like, crystals, and he wants Crash to gather the crystals. That's who Sombra reminded me of. But, oh great, I'd like to see artwork right now of Twilight as Coco Bandicoot, and Shining as Crash, and Sombra as Dr. Neo Cortex. That would be fun. But yeah, it's funny, but Sombra was honestly, he was the weakest villain that we have seen in the show, and there were many jokes and gags that people said about him after his defeat, after his reveal. You know, the build up to season 3 made you think that Sombra was going to be this big epic villain, and then he comes in, he just kind of looms over the Crystal Empire, doesn't do anything, and then he's easily defeated. And I remember like seeing posts from people saying manages to take over once before, gets easily defeated second time around, something like that. People made jokes about it, about his easy defeat. And so just, you know, Sombra was honestly the kind of the weakest and the most kind of hilarious villain to defeat. And also the most disappointing villain that we have had because of how easy that he was to defeat. And just, he didn't do anything as a villain. But it's fun that we've actually got him to come back. This time we've had more dialogue with him and we've seen more of his personality. But I'm still curious. The one thing that still baffles me is originally his horn was blown away. His horn was blown off. And there was, I remember, again, I think a cousin showed me. I remember a cousin showing me back after the premiere of season 3, a cousin showed me, or he told me, that there was a tweet from someone that said King Sombra is dead. He's bucking dead. So he was dead. I don't know if you could say, you know, if you could say clinically dead or just dead, like poof, poof, gone into oblivion. But was Grogar able to find his horn and reattach it? Because I see no surgical marks. Magic. But it's interesting because this is kind of funny. again, this was a very fun episode. I did enjoy this episode, but there was also some crazy things that happened in this episode. Such as the fact that King Sombra just manages to come back into the Crystal Empire with no problem whatsoever, is able to defeat the guards. Like, King Sombra just waltzes into the Crystal Empire, he's able to defeat a few random guards, and then take control of their minds, and then he's able to just walk into the Crystal Empire and take over. Okay, here is something that I have to say. The Crystal Empire does not have a good defense system. They don't. Like, oh my freaking gosh. Okay, I know Shining and Cadence are powerful, and Flurry Heart is like a prodigy or something. She's just, I don't know what she is. I always thought at first, whenever she was introduced, she was a convenient plot device for some sort of something in the future. But, like, I know Shining and Cadence are powerful, but, like, I just don't really understand how that King Sombra was able to just walk into the Crystal Empire. You would think that there would be guards stationed at the outskirts of the Crystal Empire, keeping watch, just in case that something arises, you know? And then King Sombra just walks in, takes over, just willy-nilly, lickety-split. Like, do you want some cake? And just defeats, like, takes over the Crystal Empire in just minutes. But the funny thing was King Sombra actually went for the one thing that could kind of weaken Cadence and Shining, which was their baby. So that was actually pretty genius on their part. I mean, that was actually pretty genius on his part. I saw this part in the trailer on TV where King Sombra takes over and he's like, "Long live the king," and he just relaxes on the throne. I did see this part right here in the promo on TV. But yeah, quickest villain defeat ever. Literally, he got defeated this time around even quicker than he did before. I'm just wondering if he'll, like, this was I thought maybe his not his redemption episode. I knew he wasn't going to get redeemed, but I mean, like, his chance to shine as a villain, and he got a bit more of a chance, and he did better this time. You know, he actually did a little bit better this time. Maybe the third time will be the charm, and he'll actually be able to do something a little bit better. But already I can see that basically he's going to get full. I can already tell that this episode here with all these characters together is similar to what happened in one of the other MLP comics, where all of the villains were kind of gathered together and kind of tried to work together. I remember seeing that, and in one of the comics. So this is kind of similar to that, but this time around, unlike, I already know that what's going to happen this time. King Sombra is going to get defeated. The bad guy's going to get defeated, and King Sombra is, so this still, we can easily, the good news is we can still look at the comic where King Sombra was brought back by Radiant Hope. We can look at that and say, yeah, that right there is canon because she later redeems him. So yeah, that much is still canon, and I still believe it. But of course, we see the segment where the Tree of Harmony is destroyed by King Sombra, and all the ponies are just completely shocked by this. But I figured that King Sombra was going to return because he kind of made a deal with the devil, in a sense. Like, he pretty much made a deal with the devil. Like, I'm going to try it on my own. If I can't, then, yeah, you help me. I'll give you my soul just as long as you help me take over. That's pretty much, you know, like what he said here. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the second part. Obviously, they're going to try to... and I don't know if they can easily wrap it up because they got more villains this time around. And I don't see them doing a massive redemption, you know, with redeeming all the characters. I don't see them doing that in this episode. Because I don't really know what's going to happen in this, like in the second part. But yeah, this is actually a very interesting start to the new season, with villains returning, and now Twilight is put in charge of running an entire country. So yeah, this is definitely a very interesting start. And I'm very curious about what's going to happen and about what the villains are going to do and what's going to happen in the future. I'm also, like, even beyond MLP, I'm also curious because, like, what's going to happen beyond MLP with Twilight running Equestria? This is going to be interesting. But there's a couple little things that I want to go over with this. Little gags and references in this. Is Pinky making the mention that running by everything that so fast that everything's blurry. Yeah, this is an animation technique. It's an animation technique because legit, whenever you're running, things kind of seem to have a blur. It's a camera effect. Whenever you're moving, it's also a visual effect with your eyes. If you move your hand in front of your eye, you'll see like a blur, and it's a common thing. So it's funny that Pinky makes a reference to that particular thing. That's actually comical. And this segment, and I love this little bit where the princesses are like, "There's nothing wrong. We just decided to make you think that everything was terrible, but there's nothing wrong. We're good. We're cool." And I love how Discord is first like, can I rule Equestria? And I love how Luna, and there's a very interesting thing here. And I love it. It's cute and it's sweet. You can tell that Luna, Celestia, and Discord are more on good terms now. Because they're just very mellow with Discord's charm. And there's honestly a cute look here between Celestia and Discord here, as well as Luna and Discord. Like these girls, they know of Discord, and it's just more of like the scenario where someone who, well, a real life scenario would be someone who is kind of more, well, has Discord's personality in real life, says something and you just roll your eyes like, oh boy, here we go. Like, you know about their mannerisms, you know how they are, and so it's just kind of one of those things where it's comical, but it's just something you overlook anyway. And there's a very comical thing here where instead of either of the girls just saying something, they just, like Celestia just points a hoof like, nope. And I love this. It's a very charming and very cute little thing. It's tiny, but yeah, it's really well done. I love it. And this is probably this moment whenever Twilight gets shocked right here. Twilight.exe has stopped working. Like, this girl has a mental shutdown at this moment. This was more of a shock for her than whenever she got wings. It really was. Here, she's just shocked beyond anything. And who can blame her? And I love this little part. There's a lot of cute dashiness in this episode. I love this cute little adorable segment with Rainbow wanting to be able to. Rainbow wants to be able to call the power to be able to go into Pony's dreams. Yeah, I imagine how she's going to abuse that. She's probably going to go to other Pony's dreams, kind of laugh, make fun. She's probably going to go to Daring Do's dreams and go on fun adventures with Daring Do. She's probably going to go to Soren's dreams and see if he's dreaming about her and make sure he is dreaming about her, and probably go to Spitfire's dreams and make Spitfire dream about Rainbow being captain of the Wonderbolts. So yeah, you don't want to give that girl any power. Like, you really don't give Rainbow the power to go into dreams. And of course, we get that adorable segment where Pinky's like, classic Twilight, and Twilight's like, you made me a verb. I became a verb. Hey, Twilight, honestly, it's better than being a meme. Actually, though, being a meme is cool. And there's another segment here with Chrysalis where she's talking to a lump of wood, and her expression on her face, I said before, whenever she came back, I said that her sanity is slowly seeping away. She's becoming more and more on the crazy side. I think that her mentality is slipping. Her desire to get control again is she's beginning to go a little backcrap insane. Which I think is kind of hilarious. You know, she's becoming the insane villain. And I gotta say, like, this rock sculpture with that Cozy made, that honestly is actually good. Like, I don't know why Cozy can't, like, whenever she finally gets her out of her however long sentence to Tartarus, like, she could easily start up an eHoof account and just start making rock sculptures and selling them. And as part whenever Twilight finds the thing that she read, actually, okay, that's actually a cute face. She finds that thing that she wrote before, Twilight Derpy Face, to Starlight, and Starlight begins to have she pretends to have a panic attack about this. And her idea, and I have to commend her for her actions. Her plan is to try to make make Twilight think that she's having a mental breakdown, but in actuality, she was really cool with it. But for Twilight, it didn't really help because she's like, yeah, running a school and running a country are two totally different things. Again, I have to agree with that. I really do have to agree with that. Two totally different things, two very big different things. Another thing that I wanted to mention is Cadence. The moment that they see their baby in danger, yeah, the shock on their face is, yeah, it's totally real. And then Cadence is ready to rip, like, she's ready to rip Sombra a new one. And yeah, you never mess with a young mother, or probably any mother, really. And the segment where Sombra makes the mention, I may have lost the battle, but I have not lost the war. Yeah, that was also foreshadowing, I believe, to what's coming up later on. And I also love this bit whenever Cadence comes back through the window, angry. Like, this girl is mad. Like, she is ready to destroy Sombra for endangering her family. But yeah, very interesting start to season 9. Very interesting start to season 9. I'm very curious as to what's going to happen in the following. I'm very curious as to what's going to happen in the following. Part 2. So yeah, very curious about that. I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments as well, although you probably would just save those comments for the final. But again, any thoughts you want to have about in midway between the 2 episodes, please feel free to do it in the comments. But again, to everybody, Hasbro DHX, again, thank you for 8, and now starting 9 years of amazing MLP. Thank you for 8, starting 9 amazing years. Thank you, Hasbro DHX, everybody that has had a hand and a hoof and a claw and a paw involved with MLP. Thank you. And thank you all again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care, and let's get ready to start part 2.